Ready? Right? That's it. Boom. I am your host, BKP, and it's time for BKP Politics on FYNTV.com. FYNTV.com. BKP here. Good morning, Wednesday morning, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Right after the show, I'm headed to a pub crawl. I'm going to start right after the show. 10 a.m. Going to start the pub crawl, right? They canceled it. Darn, I can't go. So I'm not advocating drunkenness, but of all days. Oh my God, the CDC is begging you not to go to the pub crawl. Hunter Biden, our U.S. intel report. The Hunter Biden story in the Ukrainian, it was all a myth. All a myth. Let me tell you, we have a lot to go through today. You want to be tuned for all 2 hours. Yes, I understand there's a mass shooting that the media is already trying to monopolize or capitalize. That was it. They're trying to yes, Asian. I understand it. It's horrific. It's terrible. People are killed. A man walked in these massage parlors, but it's an Asian racially motivated attack. Before the end of the day, CNN, MSNBC will have all the more reason why you should not have a gun, or you should register it, or you should be controlled somehow, or you should have a psychiatric evaluation exempting Joe Biden. All the above. You shouldn't have a gun because you're half crazy, but Joe Biden is bonkers and he has an army. Just saying. Okay. Yes, it's terrible. Okay. And we're not just glossing over it, but I want to stay focused on today's show because I always say it's a smoke screen. And I'm not going to use the tragedy of people dead in Cherokee County, Georgia here, and Aaron, whatever his name is, this alleged murderer. But the media is running with that all day long, so everything underneath will not be uncovered. Hunter Biden, our U.S. intel report on the 2020 U.S. election, Vladimir Putin, the usual suspect. Vladimir wins. I mean, wouldn't you like, Vladimir always wins out. And the election tampering winner of the year, the envelope, please. Right? The envelope, please. Who do you think won this year? I don't know. Iran? North Korea? I don't know. It was a lot of tough ones out there. You think China was involved? Here it is. And the winner is Vladimir Putin, Russia. Once again, that's not a shocker, John. I tell you, this is the 5th year Vladimir's won this. He's walking away with this award every year. Russia interference. I mean, I'm telling you, they've got a lock on this. I don't know what it is, but the others out there, they just don't know what they're doing when it comes to Russia interfering with elections like Vladimir does. I'm just saying, I'm telling you. I mean, wow, are you shocked? But China was not involved. We found out. So we're going to talk about that today. Yes. And Hunter Biden, it was all a myth. Wow. So that's our U.S. intel, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit today. Now, Joe Biden, all he had to do is sit down with George Stephanopoulos. Now, what about if Trump took index cards? What if he took cards? Now, give me number. You notice Joe's got his bullet points with him at all time. Give me number 40. Joe Biden sat down. Now, the world and Americans out there, $1,400 just in time to buy gas. Right? Just in time to buy gas. Wow. But if you look here, Biden always has his note card with him because there's bullet points on the back. Now, Trump never showed up. They're two different people, okay? But he never showed up with bullet points, right? Trump just sit down, went with it. And there was never a journalist, we'll call him a journalist, okay? There was never a journalist that gave them the answer, never said, well, maybe this is the answer. I've got it right here. I'm going to put it up. They never gave, what if they sit down and gave Trump the answer? George Stephanopoulos is sitting there yesterday, and he tells Biden, they start talking about the crisis on the southern border. And I have it here somewhere, crisis on the southern border. And George Stephanopoulos says, here you go. Give me number 28. Give me number 28. So George Stephanopoulos is sitting down with this bumbling, man. I'm telling you, America is waking up. Sadly, it's after a stolen election, okay? Trouble there. Hell, we're back on YouTube this morning live. They gave us a 7-day. We were taken off YouTube for 7 days, so I'm probably gone there because I said stolen election. They're probably going through. But America is waking up and thinking, how the hell did this disaster happen? Okay, but don't come over. George Stephanopoulos, like the crisis, and Joe's trying to figure out, what do I say? And Stephanopoulos looks at it. George Stephanopoulos looks at it and say, maybe, should you just say, don't come here? Don't come over? Yeah, that's what we'll go with, George. Yes. Just don't come over. That ought to do it, Joe. That should definitely do it. Okay, we're going to talk. Let me give you something else. We're going to go over the intel stuff, all right? But here we're going to get into this, back into Georgia, because give me number 16. All right, the Republican Party, and not everybody in the Republican Party, because if you're out there and you say, wait a minute, I go to my local Republican Party meeting and we are not like this. Okay, I got it. You're not. Okay, I get it. BKP, slumming with the people, not the politicians. Okay, I go out there. I try to tell somebody this morning on a text message conversation, you got to get back in touch with the people. You've lost touch with the people, but do they really care? Kissing the ring inside the GOP courtship of Trump's endorsement. Okay, and the question we're going to, Republican Party, this has to do with Jeff Duncan, Brian Kemp, Brad Raffensperger, across America, no matter where you're at. I'm going to talk about some things the Republican Party does not want me to mention. They do not want me talking about this. They don't want you to hear it. You know it. You know it's true. I know it. They just don't want us talking about it, okay? But we're going to go for the things at the Republican Party, because I'm going to tell you right now, my question I put on social media this morning, there's two questions. Number one, I spoke to a former candidate that I thought may be a potential candidate yesterday. I called this person, and I do a lot of reviews throughout the day, and it was about I don't know, maybe a 40-minute conversation, but it was in depth. And so we're looking in Georgia, like, who's running for Secretary of State? Okay, who's going to run against Brad Raffensperger? Because I will tell you this: anybody out there in America that you're saying recall Brad Raffensperger, recall. Believe it or not, California has a better, easier recall system than Georgia, because Gavin Newsom, the recall will be on the ballot. I think, let's go from memory. Let's channel BKP's memory We should have a thing, channeling my memory. But I think the last governor to be recalled in California was Pete Wilson. And Pete Wilson, at that time, a Republican, Pete Wilson of California. Check and see if I'm right. Just do it and just let me know, okay? But California, if you're out there, just not getting sidetracked, but if you're out there and you're wondering, we get the messages. We have Facebook groups, recall Brian Kemp, recall Jeff Duncan, recall Brad Raffensperger. I get messages across the country. How come you guys are not getting rid of these bums? I'm with you 100. But Georgia does not have a good recall system. It's not that easy to recall these rhinos, okay? It's not. They fixed it to where in Georgia, let me tell you something, okay? And, I'm just going to go for hell, we ought to call this BKP Gets His Ass in Trouble Wednesday, okay? Do it every Wednesday. But in Georgia, we make sure our corruption is untouchable. Yes, if you're out there, I just told you that you did not have to listen to another show today. We make sure our corruption is untouchable, okay, in Georgia. We fixed that a long time ago. You cannot bring up a constitutional officer on charges. You can basically do nothing. You can't remove him from office. There's no ethical violations, nothing. We fixed that. So in Georgia, corruption, let it roll. Oh, hell, I'm in trouble now. Damn, wait till they hear me downtown, right? That's the way it is in Georgia. We fixed that. Recall, we can't recall anybody. We could attempt to, but we can't. So in Georgia, let me get back. I can stay focused, all right? I've got that memory medication. I take the same stuff Joe Biden takes, man. Try to keep it together. The wheels turning in the same direction like Joe. Anyhow, in Georgia right now, we're looking who's going to. This is the talk every day, right? Who's going to run for Secretary of State against Raffensperger and get this bum out of office? Who's running against Brian Kemp? Who will step up and run against Kemp? Who will step up and run against Jeff Duncan? I mean, it's out there every day. And I'm going to talk about some things they don't want you to hear. My question, because yesterday there's a buzz, and there's a buzz out there, and you can look this up when you get a minute. I think, channeling BKP's memory once again, going for the memory bank here, Joe Biden. We had a guy named David Bell Isles, okay? And I think he's the former mayor of Alpharetta. I think this, all rolling, right? Looking at the camera. No notes like Joe Biden. No Biden notes, okay? So we had this guy, David Bell Isles, okay? Former mayor of Alpharetta. He ran for Secretary of State, okay, last time. And he made the runoff because we had like 4 or 5 candidates. I don't remember, Buzz Brockway, I don't know. We had several never Trumpers, rhinos, whatever. But David Bell Isles, I think, was in the runoff. I think he was the one in the runoff with Brad Raffensperger. Sources all over Georgia are rolling out that David Bell Isles is going to announce real soon that he's running against Brad Raffensperger again. Now, the question that came up, and this is why I thought this was interesting that Axios has done this story now. The question came up yesterday that did David Bell Isles, does he have, if he announces Trump's endorsement? That was spinning all over. Does he have Trump's endorsement? So I sent 6 people. Hey, does Bell Isles have Trump's endorsement? Okay. Because my question, let me move on. My question, okay, on social media is, can a real conservative, okay, grassroots candidate, somebody that steps up and says, I'm running for office, okay, can a real grassroots candidate, Republican, win in the 2020 primary without Trump's endorsement? can they? What if, this is my question, we're going to get back to it, because stay with me. What if a never Trumper somehow ends up with Trump's endorsement? Well, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. How's a never Trumper? I will answer this question. You ready? How does a never Trumper, ready? This is what they don't want me to tell you. But I'm not going to tell you right now. How does a never Trumper end up with Trump's endorsement? How does that happen when we have a great grassroots, real conservative candidate on the ballot? Can they win? What will happen? What do we need to do to prevent it? All that and more on FYN TV with BKP. We're going to get to that, I promise, okay? So the myth, the U.S. intelligence, the myth on Hunter Biden and China. All right, I'm going to take a Rona break. Now, the other day, as soon as the show is over, okay, happy St. Patrick's Day. I've got my green tie on. But please, wait a minute. I have it here. I should have set this up so I would have this well in advance. So that way, when I show it to you, where the heck is it at? It's like, please, the CDC is saying, I have it right here. There you go. Number 30. This is, see, look at this right here. Okay. Number 30, it's St. Patrick's Day. Number 30, stay at home. See, that says 2 a.m. You can't see it in the corner. That's 5 a.m. in the morning. The very first damn thing CNN says. And I'm sorry out there. Let me just say, okay, my mom, oh God, why do I do this stuff? My mom said the other day, said, Brian, you got, sometimes there's some, there's some preachers, some pastors, some people that, they watch your show, but you say some things. Look, I apologize. But let me just speak directly to maybe a pastor or a preacher that may be watching the show this morning. If what I say is so far off the chart and offensive, I apologize, but I'm not going to change, okay? I'm not going to. I've made a decision long ago to do the show and not really think, people are laughing, yeah, we know that's right, not really think about who's watching, except my mom. That's the only one I take into consideration, period, out there, okay? But outside of that, I said long ago, I'm not going to do it. I don't care. Okay. Now, if you out there don't understand, I'm pro-life. I'm a Christian. Okay. I'm not into these daggone, transgenders. I'm not into what they're doing to our kids in school. And you have to turn it off because every once in a while I say, what the hell? And damn it, I'm sorry, but move on. Why do I say stuff like that? It's just not necessary. Anyhow, stay at home, okay? First damn thing, that was what I was talking about. At 2 a.m. this morning, or at 5 a.m., CNN, the CDC, don't go to the pub crawl. Don't go to the pub crawl. Please, stay at home. Don't go drink green beer. I'm going to instruct you, again, pastors, I'm sorry. I want you out there today, not me. I will not. I do not drink adult beverages. I do not. But I will drive you. If you want to, call me. You got my number. You want me to drive you around? I'll take you bar to bar. Throw your ass in. Throw your ass in the next one. I will. I've done it before. I know that upset people. But what the heck? I mean, my God. All right. Go drink the green beer. Okay. Go get together with. Do not drink and drive. Do not drink and drive. Call me. I'll give you a ride home. But go drink the green beer. Enjoy St. Patrick's Day. Okay? And move on. It's time for a Rona break. Now, I've got to go to Robbinsville, North Carolina today. I love going over. Western North Carolina, why don't you just clip yourself off? From Asheville over, clip yourself off. Those are some amazing people. because where I broadcast from, I'm right here next to Eastern Tennessee, Western North Carolina, North Georgia. I'm in the greatest, I mean, it's God's country, okay? Let's just put it like that. So over in Western North Carolina, these are great people, absolutely great people. You should clip yourself off from Asheville over, create your own state. Hey, here's a thought. East Tennessee, maybe Franklin, name yourself Franklin, look that up in the history books. But anyway, so in North Carolina, they've got a Democrat governor. Let me tell you this real quick. I love it. They have a Democrat governor, not that they have that, Roy Cooper. So in basketball, in high school basketball, they had to wear a mask on the court, right? So I'm talking last week to a guy that broadcast high school basketball. Great guy. He was broadcasting high school basketball. Now, the North Carolina said that the kids had to take their mask off. They would have breaks, appropriate times to breathe. Yes, they would have official timeouts for kids to be able to take their mask off and breathe. So it's like 2 a quarter. Officially, they inserted 2 timeouts a quarter for kids to take a minute and breathe, take the mask off. True story in North Carolina. So this guy was broadcasting high school basketball, and he would say, okay, folks, it's time for a Rona break brought to you by Governor Roy Cooper. We'll be right back. And he got in trouble for that. I love it. So it's time for a Rona break brought to you by Dementia Joe. We'll be right back after this. Intel, we're going to go with that. And the Republican, the question, they don't want you to hear this. You need to stay tuned.